Cam Inman posted a video of Jimmy running around. And I do wonder, kind of in the conversation with Trey, even if Trey Lance were healthy and Jimmy looked like that, would he be the starting quarterback this week? But there doesn't, we're at this place where there doesn't seem like there's much debate about it. We're glad you're watching our video. Give it a like if you like it and subscribe to this channel.
Yep, 55% of you are not subscribed, so do that now and check out our podcast below in the description.
Also, we're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Check it out. #1 vodka in America. This is just go back to what we talked about a little while ago, and this is, I don't know, a little forced on him because of the injuries, but this is not an ideal situation to be in, going back and forth with quarterbacks. It's got a little, even the Chicago Bears, once Andy they just kind of went with Justin. And remember Nagy was like, Dalton, it was after he had made multiple starts, like, Dalton's still our guy. And then, like, by the next Monday, like, oh, we're just sticking with Fields. In this situation, again, sprained knee, he can't practice, he can't play. I get it. But this is not what good teams do. This is not a situation they envisioned themselves being in. Jimmy was going to start, like, it was just going to be a black and white break, right? In sense of Jimmy started till X games, and then Trey came in and finished, right? Whether that was 17 and he just sat the whole time, whether that was the 9-game stretch because they were 4-5 and they needed a spark. There wasn't a plan to Jimmy comes out and then Trey comes in and then Trey plays a game and a half and now Jimmy's back. How do I expect Jimmy to look any good? Hasn't been playing. He's missed now. He missed the half and then he missed the full game. I would imagine this last week of the bye, he's just rehabbing to feel good. Now, I did see some clips of him at practice. It looked like he was full go and looked normal. But let's not forget, Jimmy wasn't that great before he left. Like you always said this whole offseason, I think people think you're getting, even if he starts, we saw like Jimmy Garoppolo now is a pretty flawed player. If Jimmy Garoppolo is starting against Carson Wentz, like they have the better quarterback. And I guess they would too if Trey Lance was starting, given that it's his second start, but it's advantage Colts.
Yes, it's advantage Colts on. It could also, you could watch the game and it could look like advantage 49ers.
You see Phil Yates' tweet the other day about Carson Wentz, all the picks he's thrown the last couple of years. Like you got to give Frank and the Colts credit. He only has 1 interception this year
and 9 touchdowns. Yeah, 9 touchdowns.
That wasn't a ratio Jeffrey Lurie was used to seeing when he was crashing those direct deposits of $35 million.
No. I mean, he's I'll pull him up here in a second. He's 1 pick this year. He was 15 in 2020. Led the league. Now, I will say this it's hard because he wasn't. I mean, in 19, John, he played 16 games, only had 7 picks. The year before that, 7. The year before that, 7, but he didn't play full seasons in those 2 years.
Jimmy only has 2 this year.
Look, if Garoppolo starts 3 more games this year, think about this. It'll be the second most starts he's ever had in a season. The most starts, obviously, was 19. He started every game. Then in 20, he started 6. So we've all been down this road. It's been litigated and relitigated. How many games? Jimmy hasn't really played a full season, on and on and on. But to your point, not even to be critical of Garoppolo, not to be critical of Kyle, not to be critical of, it's just the reality of he has not been in ideal situations, in part because he can't stay healthy. And, if Trey Lance is the quarterback again in 3 weeks, we're talking all these hypotheticals now. That again makes that's a month that the offensive line didn't get with Trey Lance. I
know. That's what I'm saying. The ebb and flow is not healthy for your football team. It's just not. It goes back to the crisis mode. It makes it more difficult to get out of it and get to smooth sailing. Like back to the Colts. They just say what you want. Like now that Carson's back, they just feels like they have a little stability at their quarterback position, which is the biggest, most important position in football. The moment you get stability in that position, you just feel like the Chiefs. They can't stop a nosebleed. They have issues galore, but we got Mahomes, right? Anytime your quarterback is just taken care of, you're like, oh, we got a quarterback situation. Even with Seattle, when what created the crisis was his finger snapped. It was like they'll be fine. Russell will pull shit out of his ass. He'll get them back. But
and Russell's healthy a lot. If you lose a year because Russell got hurt, that's part of the sport.
Yeah, So the Niners have multiple quarterbacks injuries?
Well, what do you think if I told you right now that Jimmy Garoppolo starts the next 11 games, the rest of the season? What do you think that looks like?
How would I be able to pick the 49ers as a playoff team going into 2022 when I have no clue about Trey Lance?
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about 22 or Trey Lance. I'm just saying, if I said Jimmy Garoppolo starts the next 11 games for them, what do you think happens?
I would say they would start rattling off some wins.
Yeah.
That would be a positive because they would probably be competing to make the playoffs. Because it would make no sense if you were several games under 500 to keep starting a guy that's not going to be on your team next year.
Yeah, and you don't want to be in a back and forth position trying to win 10 games, miss the playoffs, and then have to commit to the young guy and basically be the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. But I think one major difference with the Miami Dolphins and Tua and Trey is like a huge knock on Tua is, right, you see him, you go, God, he's small, his little pea shooter arm. The coolest thing, he's left-handed, so it looks cool, but it's just like, something's off. With Trey, I think the thing is, you go, well, he's got this big physical, all these traits. We need to start molding it like clay. Like watching Brian Daboll, who it feels like it's a lock to get a head coaching job this year. They just spent years with Josh, game in, game out. Like his whole first year, everyone's shitty first year. He got to play 16 games. So what did they do all OTAs? Pulling up plays. I bet if we sat down with Daboll and Josh Allen over beers, they'd be like, you don't understand how much time we spent March, April, May going into my second year just dissecting the living shit out of my rookie year, what we need to do, and just hammering home. Because you have the film to build off of. Like when you have the base of, what are you really building off with, Trey? Just the one game, if in your scenario, and the half? That's really not that much. Now, there are some basic things you would know, but like, hey, Josh, remember when week 12, your rookie year, when you got that quarter, half coverage that you had never seen before in your life on the third down when we had called this play? Oh, yeah, let's bring that up. Well, hey, this is what we did when I was with Tom Brady and we get this look. Where with Trey, it's all, that whole offseason would all, for the most part, be in theories and hypotheticals, not on tangible data. Like, I would say at minimum, anything less than like...
Get 25% off your hydration at liquidiv.com, promo code HAM.
Yep. Also, get your gamble on with our friends at mybookie.ag, promo code HAM1. 6 games of data would be pretty big, just like it'd just be a huge unknown question mark all off season, which would suck.
The only way you can justify it is if you're in the playoffs. And even then it would feel like you've missed out. And to be clear, I don't look at Trey like I look at Tua. I thought watching Tua last year that they had a problem on their hands, and they clearly do have a problem.
And at least he got a lot of action in, right? That second half of the season. He got to play a lot.
Yeah, part of the playing the guy is like, we're going to have to make a decision here, right? It's the same reason Josh Rosen played a lot of games for the Cardinals. It turned out it was good because then they could make an informed decision to move on from him.
I do wonder if Watson, that situation hadn't happened, would he be on the Miami Dolphins? Feels like there's like a 50-50 shot he was, right?
Yeah, that they would have decided before even needing to see Tua this year that they'd moved on.
Because the Niners' problem was they had just more ammo to go land them than, remember they had all those picks? The Niners were like, well, we don't even have that many picks.
Right. The Dolphins made more. Yeah. The only thing that was going to be a factor, right, was if Deshaun said, I want to go there and not there. Right. If Deshaun dictated destinations. Yeah. But if you were Houston and you're being held hostage, kind of, you go, no, we're getting the most we can get for you.
Didn't feel like the Preacher and Caserio were just going to be bent over by Deshaun Watson.
No, they're going to try to avoid it. But the Niners could have given him a bunch of stuff. I mean, the Niners could have given him the Trey Lance package. And
I got to give what's his name, the bald Preacher, credit. He's kept a low profile since football started. You notice that? I haven't seen his name guy on one social media post.
One Lance or line tweet
viral. I haven't seen any of him. Just like a picture of him at practice with a whistle,
video of him preaching.
Yeah, I haven't seen. He pivoted pretty well when it felt like everyone was gunning for him. The key is when everyone's gunning for you, just go underground.